for that proof. So anyhow, that's just, and that has worked really well. And then if we don't sell it, well, that's the salesperson's problem. They need to work harder or something. Or we just need to figure out some additional embellishments. So
That's a
anyway,
great point.
thanks. This is great.
That's a great point, Therese. And I apologize there. I thought I was recording the meeting, and I wasn't. So I'm going to record this for the designers who couldn't make it.
Let me jump in from a designer point of view, because Samantha and I are on the same page here. I think having a physical proof is fabulous, but Samantha and I don't have one of these machines in the back where we can just run out a proof and say, okay, we're good. That's a much bigger deal for many designers. So I think having some preview, I know it's not the same thing. I totally, believe me, totally get it. But better than Photoshop is what you are working on, Kevin, and I know some other manufacturers, foil manufacturers are working on this as well, to give us at least an idea so that we can, beyond Photoshop and making the layer pink, because we want to have a foil layer, really getting at least an idea of what we're working with before we go to a proof. Because for us, we don't have the machines. I'm speaking for you, Samantha, here as well. I hope I'm right. So Samantha and I don't have the embellishment machine in the back. We can't just go to the basement and say, just print it out, like you guys, some of you have. So for us, the first step would be hopeful to at least get an idea. And then definitely, I'm totally with Teresa and Matt there. Ultimately, to have this client sign off, the physical proof is priceless. But just for our peace of mind, it's already good to see, okay, this is not what even I thought before I showed to client.
Yeah, and like with our branded stores that we do, like for the brokerages, we have a range between like 8 to 12 different business card designs. So, and all of those designs vary with like if it's something simplified or if it's more of like a luxury card too, that would have like all the bells and whistles. So a lot of times, especially when we're in a crunch time to create these mock-ups, I don't always have time to like go to our printer and have him print all the embellishments out and then take the photos. So that's why a lot of times with us, with the mock-ups in Photoshop, is just quicker and faster. But eventually it's like, I would love to be able to find a process where I can have those effects applied in Photoshop when we get to that level of having those like higher tier cards like more often than the standard ones too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Sabine, you were talking about Photoshop, kind of your feeling. What is your feeling on Adobe and print? Oh, the face.
Well, Adobe's, and we're among friends here, right? So Adobe's official statement more than 10 years ago was already, we don't support print anymore. It's like, who cares? But we all use Adobe, let's face it, in design or whatever way. I love Photoshop. I'm dangerous with Photoshop, but that's a different story. So, right, Matt?
Yeah.
It's there, it's here to stay, but it's not the biggest market. So, we use it. I'm sure all of us are using some form of Adobe products to get our designs into the world.
Do you think that they're gonna maybe push for maybe a tools to be able to, or do you think they're not gonna invest? No.
Sure.
Well, we have
Wishful
Mark.
thinking.
Mark, are you on the call? Is Mark on the call?
What was that? Somebody's along my line here.
I said wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not happening. They're like others who are a little bit larger than Tactiful, Kevin, have tried, and no.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
I'm sorry.
And there's a good software out there too that might be interesting called Color Logic. There's Mark Jeeves. I think he might be on the call or not. But he's
listening in.
Yeah, so he's got like a really cool plugin that can help with some of the special effects if you want to kind of visualize that directly off of Adobe stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, we are. I'm on a trip today, so I'm logging in from a distance.
There he is. So he's got some cool stuff, and definitely. Do you want to give us just a quick second on what your thoughts are on the pre-visualization of embellishments?
Absolutely. It's important because we live in a global world. We have clients that are communicating all over, and they need to have some type of visual to show their clients before they get started even. We have clients that are 1,000 miles away from the designer. So you have to have something to show them, and you can't wait for FedEx. It's just not going to work in that situation. So I will say, I know you're working on some technology. There's also companies like IC3D. There's
Yep.
also ESCO visualizers. I saw Kurz just came out with something at the
Yep.
show,
Yep.
at Drupa. So the good news for all you designers is people like Kevin and people like us, we're working on things, trying to help you. And our whole goal is to help you get there faster and more predictably. So I think it's a good thing for you to be in position right now. A lot of new things coming out.
Thank you, Mark. Absolutely. Very cool. Well, Samantha, look at the conversation you spurred here on that little question, huh? That's did we answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see from other perspectives when it comes to design, whether it's digital or physical print. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with physical print. The only experience I have is doing screen printing for posters and doing booklets for a wedding company, and that's about it. But we have a lot of like print going on in our office, and most of the projects is digital on my end, but I know eventually I'll probably be helping my coworker out with some print things like in the future. But yeah, I'm just here to learn. So
Very good. All right, very good. Anybody else have any ideas, questions, comments that you wanted to kind of tackle together as a team or discuss? I think there's a lot of good conversations happening. Anything that you guys want to cover? Oh, we got Natalie. What's up, Natalie? How are you?
Hi. I'm great. I hope you are all doing well today. I'm here with Kanika Minolta. Recently got hired as a print specialist about 4 months ago. My background is mostly design, but I've been slowly learning these embellishment machines with the Evo as well as the Acurio Shine. And I just wanted to give kind of a little show and tell with the project I've been working on recently. Got some test foils from K Laser a few months ago. So I've been practicing using like just foil to make entire designs. And I wanted to pick your guys' brains about best practices for making things pop. I've recently started layering these textures on top of foil to kind of give a 3D effect, but was curious if any of y'all had experience with, putting varnish on top of foil to give kind of these more dimensional appearances. And if so, if you had any examples you wanted to share.
Anybody want to speak up? I think there's a lot of.
Sorry, I was still muted. I was like, there, I've got a nice
Yeah.
little butterfly where that's just a UV on top of foil to see the definition in its wings and stuff. This stuff like that works out really well and can even give you, sorry, I was like, where's the other textures? Flip it upside down. I was like, here. And then you can even do some like ripply textures or little speckles or whatnot, and that's gonna.
Was that polymer or did you? Sorry, was that polymer or did you run it through an offset press? This was polymer, right? Like
it's it's an MGI foil with the
varnish. So polymer. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
I've been playing with one that's pretty neat. That so I'll turn my dithering on and I'll be at 31 microns, and then I'll put like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% screen on the 31 microns, and then spray that on top of the foil, and that does some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's actually I was you stole that. I was kind of waiting to be able to bring up the dithering idea, because that was a topic of discussion, I think, in our last operator meetup, was what was the difference between dithering on and dithering off, and how that affected the machine, and what the technician's input had to say about that, and how it affected your output, and what things were possible with using dithering. And so that's a technical aspect of using the machine and creating a screen of a gray scale image with different levels of grays in it that you would put on top of your foil or toner wherever you want to put it. And the effect is really very interesting, but it literally creates like a spray. I had a customer that did, I don't know why they wanted to do this, but they did roofing, like for flat roofs. And there's different surfaces that they use for the roof. Some look like the bottom of a swimming pool, like it's kind of speckly or sparkly, to help reflect sunlight, because I'm in Florida. We want a cooler roof, right? We want to reflect some of that radiation back off the roof. And some of them were kind of a pebble texture. Some of them, like if you've ever looked at a flat roof, some of them look kind of granular. And they had pictures of their roofing surfaces in their brochure, and they wanted a varnish overlay that actually pretty much reflected the look and feel of what the roof actually was at the scale it would appear in the photo. So I created those different screens with dithering to overlay those roof pieces, whether it was like a gritty sand or a pebbly pebbles. And they loved it. It came out exactly the way they wanted it to, but you could really only do that with dithering on to get a finer spray of varnish on the surface.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so I strongly recommend what I made myself, and I would make one for your companies as well, is I did a 13 by 19 sheet of paper, and I did 100 blocks, and all from percentages of 1 to 100. And then you print your sheet with your dithering turned off, and you'll notice usually 1 through
30,
1 through 30 won't even spray.
Doesn't even show.
But turn your dithering on and run another sheet, and you'll see what your different percentages look like with dithering turned on, and that'll help you kind of get an idea of how to actually use dithering.
Cool.
From an estimating perspective, it will use more varnish. So if it's a very large run, that needs to be factored into your cost estimates for those people that deal with those things. So as a designer, you might need to alert your sales team of those kinds of things. Heavier coverage should incur a larger cost, and lighter coverage, just let it go through. But it's something that you might want to bring up.
I don't know about you guys, but I've always nerded out over 3 things specifically to what Natalie, you said. So the first one I always loved was the polymer, the varnish on top of the foil. On different types of, I think, geometric patterns will give you different effects. So like if you do like a honeycomb lattice, it'll give you almost like a convex look. If you do the reverse out, it'll almost look like concave. So varnish in different geometric repeating patterns on top of a glossy type foil like a gold, I always thought looked awesome. Number 2, yeah, exactly. Yeah, is that what you did there? Yeah, so yeah, geometric patterns look good. Number 2, I always liked foil on top of foil. And so I don't know if it's just the dine levels are so good on that foil, but we used to play, like if you get like a silver foil and a silver holographic foil, and you put the silver holographic on top of just the silver, like 2 passes, you can create almost like a hologram. Like if you look on the back of your Visa card, like that little eagle, you can kind of create that kind of an effect. So works too with gold. So if you have like a gold foil and a holographic gold, or silver foil and holographic silver, put them together and they do really cool stuff together. And then number 3, and nobody really ever talks about this, is a varnish on top of varnish. And you can do some really, really cool things by layering 2 different types of files on top of each other, because the varnish really loves itself. So, I mean, it really, the edges are going to be super high, and you can create different types of effects. And I know it says Katie, but I know that's not your name. You're Lindsay, right? Katie Grillkey, but I know I've seen your work anyways. I forget your name. I'm having a Yes, you just unmuted.
No, it's Katie.
Katie.
Oh, it is Katie. Oh my
Yeah.
God. We met in at the FSCA thing, right?
Yes, we did.
I thought your name was Lindsay. My bad. You do a lot of
Okay.
that really cool stuff. I've seen your work, right?
Yeah, we're doing it right now, actually, which is why I'm in this room. Oh, you can't see here.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, Katie does phenomenal work.
Right
Absolutely.
now, we're just doing a foil on foil.
Yeah.
I never thought about the holographic though, so we're gonna do a few cards like that now.
Yeah, and something that we discussed recently was, and who was it that brought this up? As someone in this group, I think, Kevin, who were putting the clear holographic foil on top of any color of foil. So if that foil doesn't come in a holographic finish, then you can take pink and put clear holographic on top of it. And then you end up with not only that deep pad,
Yeah,
it
dude.
looks like, yeah, then you've got an effect on it. Oh, Adam,
That was your
brought
boy
that up.
Adam. Yeah, Adam. Adam
That
taught
came
us
from
that.
Adam.
Adam, you want to tell us
Yeah.
your little
So
hack?
hold on a sec. From a dumb designer's point of view, so because the MGI, Scodex, whatever, the polymer raises the foil slightly. You
Yes.
cannot CMYK print on it, but you can put another foil on it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Why
And-
did you tell me this?
And the CMYK
Yeah,
will
I
show
thought we were
through
friends.
the clear foil. So it's kind of an iridescent holographic. It creates like a rainbow effect. It's more subtle than if it had like a highly reflective silver background, but it just adds that kind of a curiosity to it. And depending on how the light hits it, it photographs better than it looks. But it's just Sabine, I know that your direction, your thing is, and I wrote it down here, elegant and understated. That
Yes.
is your mode of operation. We know that's all about Sabine Lenz. So elegant and
Well.
understated is your thing. So especially elegant. So that type of a process falls into that category of elegant. The spray of varnish, which creates more of a pearl or satin finish, falls into that category as well.
So I have a problem, guys. And the problem is this. So you have
Yeah.
people like Matt and Adam and Katie and Natalie coming up with these really cool processes. Like we just talked about, Adam is doing like a red foil and then putting a clear holographic foil on top of it to make a red holographic foil. How do you communicate that to designers to design for that? I mean, how are they supposed to know that this kind of stuff is even possible?
We just have to show them.
Or how do you preview it too? There's just
Yeah.
really no way to preview it because it's different for every job that you do.
What were you saying, Katie?
And then you really just have to show them, unfortunately. But it's the easiest way. It's the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys, like the designers here, do you ever go to like print shops to learn, or do you get ever invited, or the printers who are on the call, do you guys ever invite designers in to kind of teach them this stuff, or is that not something that happens?
We've created something we call the Creative Lab. And we invite and customize visits to customers, agencies, even other print. We've actually hosted other printers here. And it's something we've kind of branded as a learning experience. And also, I mean, it depends on who we're showing, but if we're working with designers, we will get into building documents with them. If we're working with other printers, we're looking at what some of the necessary criteria is that we can give to them to pass on to their designers. So yeah, and we have named it the APC Creative Lab Experience, and it goes from anywhere between 2 and 4 hours.
That's a good idea. Do you show them the funky stuff too? Like
Yes.
Okay.
We have the equipment running, we show variable foil, variable. Yeah, we totally customize it to who's coming. We had 2 this week.
So
That's
Samantha and I want to come to Reese. Where are you located?
I'm in Orlando.
No, I meant Therese, so that we know where we need to travel.
Oh, we're in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hi, I'm Zanadia. I'm with Branco as well. I do the print there as well. I was just gonna ask that same question, where are you located? If anyone is in Florida, around the Orlando area, it would be great if you do have classes or online classes as well.
very cool. That's a great idea.
Excellent.
Very
I
cool.
have one thing. So since I work in customer service and project managing, when I have clients that call me and I have to explain to them what varnish is, what foil is, all that kind of stuff, I have samples everywhere in my office so I can pull something. But since I ran the CAM one and I was an operator and I got to train on the MGI, I have a better understanding of when I talk to clients what I'm actually talking about. Because usually I have people call and they go, I have no idea what that is. And I go, let me build your imagination. So I'm actually able to talk it out. And I tell them, I say, anytime you want to come in, I'd be glad to do a tour and explain the process, because they think we just take something off the shelf. They're like, no, you can get that. We want it in a week. No, we can't give it to you in a week. We have realistic expectations and we want something to come to you that's not. And I always say in construction, if you miss a process, you will eventually have the building that will crumble. So I offer them the chance to come in and have a tour with somebody here. But since I've worked in that kind of stuff, I can explain to them better, which I think all of our project managers need to know. And anybody that works in the business or industry needs to know how those machines work and how to build their imagination, especially if you don't have a machine. So if anybody wants to call me and ask me questions about the processes and about how certain things work in packaging, I'd be glad to too, because I think if we help each other, it gets more clients in as well. So
Yeah, and one thing to answer that question as well, as far as classes or teaching or information or resources, I dropped into our meeting chat a whole bunch of links. If you would just like copy and paste all those into a Word document or something, your notes, so that you can access them later, because I believe that once this call has ended, all those links just poof, they're gone. So if you would just copy and paste those into something and you can revisit them, it's a good set of resources for a lot of things that we've been discussing, a lot of things that we have discussed in the past. If we want to take a little time, if we have the time, I can go over some of the links that I posted.
Well, Matt, you missed an important link.
What was
A
that?
very important link.
What link is that?
You must
Cindy?
Kevin knows where I'm going with this one. And Katie's gonna be there too. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, the event.
Well, that
Oh
hasn't.
my gosh.
That
Katie,
hasn't.
seriously?
You did a little preview. I saw your preview video on it, that it was
Oh, there's more to
upcoming,
come.
but that it wasn't really cemented yet. So
No.
Sabine, tell us about your event. What are you doing?
No, sorry, it's your event ultimately. We're getting together in Chicago. We're bringing the best of the paper and print world together, so to speak. And Matt is going to hold a session on, and that's where we're going really deep, because Katie, you're spot on. You have to tell designers. I love all the printers, but if you wait for designers to come to your door, you can wait a long time. I always say you have to go where they are. I'm a recovering designer, so I speak from experience here. So, and that's what we're doing. We're meeting in Chicago end of September. Katie will be there and LPI, and Matt will do a session in the morning and really go deep into digital foiling, because and Kevin, you know this, I've been talking about digital foiling to designers. I speak a lot at design conferences. I've been talking about this for years, and still they look at me like, this is the newest thing they've ever heard.
I know.
And so I think really going deep and showing hands-on examples will be priceless. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So if you want to learn more, come and hear Matt speak live.
Sabine, can you drop a link in the chat for everybody in case anybody wants to come to that? But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that event, and it's good. We're trying to educate everybody on all the cool stuff that's possible.
Yeah. So if I can just share my screen for a moment, I can go over a couple things real quick. Is everyone seeing this?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Digital Embellishment Alliance, and they offer some resources as well. So if you scroll to Video Library, you can join, and I don't think there's any membership, but you can join this video library link, and there's resources there. We've also got Paper Specs YouTube site, and this is just an enormous, deep well of information that it's just mind-boggling how much resource and information is here. So I urge you to visit that. Tactify.ai or Tactiful.ai also offers all these blogs, these reports, these video resources, interviews, tutorials. Tactiful also has a YouTube, and this is where you're going to find, like right here, this is our last session. This was the session before that where we record all these sessions. So if you know of anybody that's interested in these topics, or hey, we talked about this, you should go view this. This is the place to go to get that information. And then, of course, one of our sponsors, one of the OEMs, they do offer a blog, MGI. So that's more industry advancements, that type of thing. But I also want to just interject real quick. We talked about AI in one of our last meetings. So there's an article here for, make that go away, for why AI won't steal all the jobs, because that was one of the things.
Is that what you're worried about? Is that what you're worried about there, buddy?
Yeah, that's, it's like yeah, AI is going to steal my job. I'm generating AI so I can retire.
Right.
Just let it steal my job and I'll go lay on a beach somewhere. But the definitive depot for any AI topics, and this is all just, I'm bringing it up because we discussed it in our last meeting, or one of our last meetings, is the AAAI website, which has every single resource compiled on anything AI, and that there's many different topics. It's just a deep reservoir of information. It's absolutely amazing, and I would encourage you to visit that site as well. And I'm trying to figure out how to get back to undoing my screen.
Well, you figure that out. I just do want to. We mentioned a good point last week when we were talking about the NAPCO project that made that tiny little web image that they found. They blew it up into a B2 and upscaled it a bunch of different ways, and it added in some embellishments that hid some of the issues that might have happened when the upscaling. Came out absolutely beautiful. And there's a whole conversation that happened around was it copywriting and IP? Do you guys remember that conversation? And so we are actually trying to find a good like IP lawyer maybe for the next meeting, who could pop on and just give us like, hey guys, be careful for these 3 things. Do you think that'd be interesting, or do you guys...
it's not, Charlie.
Oh, somebody say something? Nope. Okay.
No, I think
I think that was an accident from somebody.
Right. So that was one of the things I think that we had started looking. So I'm going to try to find a guest speaker maybe for one of our next meetings, just to say, hey guys, here's the things to be careful with when using, whether it's AI or upscaling or one-offs and stuff like that, just so that we know, because it's kind of like uncharted territories for a lot of us. And I think it's an interesting topic. Any other topics that you guys want to chat about? Any interesting ideas or comments or questions or wins that you guys want to share, or losses that you want to share?
So Sabine brought up the elegant and understated thing, and some of those things some of you have probably seen these before, but I just wanted to do a really quick show and tell. Black foil on matte black.
Yeah.
So this is the Concourse Club. They do very high-end auto shows, And we're not talking about Mustangs and Camaros. We're talking about really, I mean, even a Lamborghini for them is considered low end. So it's a very high-end auto club. It's a gentleman's club as well. This is their look. This was done on like a black plaque and with embellished black. The foil is actually black. And then it was multi-lofted onto another card stock. So it's this very heavy black and white thing. One of our other clients does blue on blue for one of their events. So blue foil on a blue background. And the whole thing is just one pass of foil. And it just has such an amazing impact. The only thing that would make it any more interesting is if we did a matte finish of varnish on top of the foil to bring that sheen down. And then back to the whole black plaque thing was, you know, there's always an element of shine, but a lot of people want to divide that shine between textures. So inside this little pocket folder, they have all the logos of the products that they cater to, and those are just in varnish. This had no printing. It was just blank paper that went through the machine. It's black, so it's very difficult for the machine to read.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
There's no marks to register against, and Adam, the scanner is turned off.
What type of
Off.
paper with the folder and the blue foil on blue?
Well, this is a black plaque, so it's a naturally soft touch paper. One warning is that it does collect dust. So it can, like if it lays around and gets dusty, it's almost impossible to wipe the dust off. But people love it. Our client, Southeast Toyota Distributors, loves this. They use that for presentations. And this would have, I actually don't know what this paper is, but I can find out what it is for you. It's obviously 100 and, sorry?
It's a coated stock.
Yeah, it's 130-pound gloss coated, essentially.
Very cool. And I think Adam had showed us a crazy idea.
Sorry,
I'm sorry?
Matt, the first up, really, gentlemen's club, really?
Well, I don't mean like strippers and things, but I mean like it
That's
has
what everybody understood, Matt. Just so you know.
It has
I'm
the,
not the only
That's what I
one here.
thought.
it has the feel. It's a guy's thing, you know. I mean, it's
Never mind. If I drive a Lamborghini, I can't be part of that. I'm very disappointed.
damn.
So you had black foil on the plaque. What would it look like if you would just put the clear polymer on top? Would it not show?
That's a good question.
No, that's what
Thank
this
you,
is.
Kevin. I mean, this is why you bring me on for good questions.
That's what this is.
So it's shinier. So we're
Oh, this is, I'm sorry, you said clear. So this is just clear.
Yeah.
And the
This-
gentleman's club is clear, is foil.
the foil. Can you do side by side with the two so we
Yeah.
can kind of see the?
Yeah, I think the foil is a little not as shiny is the reason why we use it.
Well, the foil also has a little bit of a color to it.
It's got like
Yeah,
that
it's almost
slick.
purple.
Yeah, the
And
oil
depending
slick.
on the manufacturer, for example, if you get it from Crown, if you shift it this way, it has a little bit of a magenta hue. If you shift it that way, it has a little
Mhm.
bit of a cyan hue. This is
Photo for
from,
me on this one, please, because it's hard on the screen.
Yeah, we could take a picture and just.
Yeah, that would be great. And can you bring this to Chicago, please? Because
yes, I can.
Because I can tell you right now, these are questions that will come up.
Yeah. And this one is from K-Laser, and it has a little bit of a purplish hue to it, depending on how the
Right.
light hits
So
it.
this is the foil from them, or yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
it's going to be friends getting together. They're going to be there as well. So look at you we're getting the band back together.
But I did want to mention one thing for you designers who are out there. If you haven't figured this out, Adam, do you want to talk really quickly about the crazy experiment where you put like a matte lamb on top of a foil and then hit it back with a varnish on top of the laminate and what that looked like?
Yeah,
You want to
yeah,
share that?
Yeah, that was neat. We did basically a flood coat red foil, and then you put the matte soft touch laminate over top of your foil, and then once you squirt that matte laminate with varnish again, it's almost like a magnifying glass that brings out that under layer of foil. So basically you've got a matte, your finished products, you have a matte card, but the only thing that's shining out is what you've put varnish on. And you can do some really neat stuff with it, especially with textures. And
you can put that foil in multiple areas then, and then cover some of it with varnish and some of it not with varnish. So if it was red underneath, you'll have some matte red foil, and then you'll have some super lensy gloss red foil.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can even do it with like holograms too. We did, we've got a green hologram that we're doing Monday.
Yeah.
And we're going to matte soft touch over this green hologram, and then just emphasize some of this texture here and this. And I think that's gonna pop.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. So again, nobody thinks about laminating on top of the foil layer. But that's what these kinds of meetings are for. So people
and additionally, one of the things that got the most views on anything I ever posted was gold foil that went back. So it was red with gold foil of a character on there. It was the shark or the fish or dolphin or whatever it was. And then it went back through the press with a flood coat of matte finish aqueous. And so not only did the whole thing have that soft touch feel, it made the gold look like velvety satin.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, this has been a phenomenal hour. We've really enjoyed having you with us. We hope, yes, go ahead, Matt.
One last thing. We didn't hear from Casper or Lindsay. So if you have, I want to make sure that you don't feel like you're left out or lost or cast to the bottom of the barrel. But I know this is the first meeting you've been on, and if you have anything that you would like to say, we have 2 minutes left.
I'm just taking it all in. I'm just absorbing
listening and learning.
everything. Yeah, exactly.
I think you guys said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Very
It's
cool.
good to have you on the call, and hopefully you'll join us in future meetings, and you'll have more that you'll feel conversational about.
Very cool. Well, listen, everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure. We love this community. Our hearts are just warmed by how many more people came to this one.
Yeah.
Every month it's getting bigger and bigger. So a big thank you to all of you guys for coming. And if you have any questions, reach out. And hopefully you guys come to the next one too. We'd love to have you, and think of like some good questions or some good challenges to set up for our next meeting. Thank you very much, Matt.
Right on.
You did a great
Thanks,
job.
everybody.
Guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.